Before we start, viewers are strongly encouraged to use their own judgment. This is just for fun, and to teach you something. This is the exact evidence from Day 5 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial in federal court, as reported by Inner City Press. Cassie Ventura talked about what she said she saw in Diddy's secret basement tunnels in frightening detail for the first time. It wasn't about music, fame, or even their unstable relationship. It was something much worse. She lied under oath and talked about women in masks, secret rooms, and drug use. Some parts have been cut out to follow YouTube's rules, but the key statement is still there. The courtroom was shocked by what Cassie said during her cross-examination on Day 5. What she said may hold the key to solving one of the most shocking star trials in recent memory. What was hidden under Diddy's business might finally come to light. The fifth day of the trial began with an odd feeling of excitement. A lot of reporters came in earlier than usual. It looked like everyone in the public gallery was more alert than ever. The air felt heavy, and everyone knew what it meant. Cassie Ventura was going back to the stand. Today would be different from the days before when the evidence was emotional but formal. There was something coming. Cassie walked in quietly, with security guards on either side, and sat down across from the defender. She looked relaxed even though she was tired. The judge warned everyone that proper behavior in court would be carefully enforced. Then they started to question her. Instead of asking basic questions about the relationship, the defense seemed to change their mind, and asked Cassie to show the court around Diddy's Los Angeles home, its structure, design, and protection measures. At first the questions seemed very architecture, but then one got through and stopped everything. Everything. Are you Miss Ventura? Have you ever been inside the tunnel under the property? There was a short break. People tried not to gasp. The prosecutors said it wasn't significant and was just a guess, but the judge let it go through. Cassie took a big breath. She said yes. The mood in the room changed with that one word. Tunnels had been the subject of Reddit posts, anonymous claims, and even jokes in the news for months, but no one had proven it. Not up until now. The defense lawyer asked, "What did you see exactly when you went down there?" Cassie said, "I didn't want to go. I was told to follow him. He told me he would show me something. He was high. I didn't understand, but I followed." She talked about how the door was outside, not inside the house, hidden by plants near the pool. Along the edge of the yard, it seemed like a hill, but there was a hole in the ground. She said that what she saw next would always stay with her. There were steel doors and concrete stairs, and it got colder as we went down. I knew this wasn't just a safe room when we got inside, it was a whole different thing. No one in the room was ready for what she was about to say, because she wouldn't say it until she was asked. Cassie didn't shaky her voice as she talked about what was inside. Even more so, that's what made it so scary. The way she spoke was clear and detached. It was like she had been picturing this moment for years. The door opened into a long hallway, with bare walls and electric lights. A buzzing sound, almost like a machine, could be heard. It didn't feel like a house. It had the feel of a building. She said the walk was confusing because it was through winding halls without any lights or cell service. She said that Diddy walked ahead of her while saying something about making a point. She almost went back, but she didn't. He looked at her with that look that said, "Don't argue." Cassie said they went through a safe door that was opened by a keypad and into a big room that looked like a chamber. The room has red lights, cams in the corners, and leather chairs. Some kind of smell came from cleaning products, sweat, or something else. She said that the room wasn't for relaxing or having fun. It looked like it was made for something else. It was both scientific and strange. It seemed like bad things had happened there. She talked about specifics. Shelves full of masks, ropes, oils, toys, and rubber clothes. Clothing that looked like it had never been worn. There are mirrors on the floor and roof. There is soundproofing on the walls. She said it didn't feel like a dream at all. It made me feel in charge. It looks like it was made to control someone. The defenders pushed her. "Have you ever seen someone else down there?" Cassie was unsure. Yes. She said she saw two women with wigs and masks on. One was lying still on a couch, and the other was sitting next to a tripod that had a camera on it. They didn't say anything, they didn't move around much. He called them artists. They didn't introduce me. She said it wasn't long when asked how long she stayed. I gave an explanation. I told you I was sick. She locked the bedroom door when she got back up to the second floor. After hours, Diddy approached her. He told me that I didn't see anything. You never say the same thing twice. I'm going to that place. Not for you. She only went down there once, but she would never forget it. Cassie gave even more scary details about the plan when she was asked to do so. And wires in a box. I told him I was leaving at that point. It was said that Diddy didn't fight. He laughed and told her she wasn't ready because it was too real, but the words he mumbled before opening the last door scared her the most. He said, "This is where I bring my own." Cassie said she heard warped sounds coming from behind one door. They sounded like a speaker playing music. I realized it was voices after a while. She wasn't sure who was inside. She didn't care. That night she shook as she left the tunnel. For hours afterward, her clothes still smelled like the place. She said in court that she had never told anyone, not family or friends. Since I didn't want to die, that's how it felt. I felt like I would disappear if I said anything, like those females in the room. The government asked her why she made that choice now. Since it's no longer just about me, she stopped talking because he was still doing it, and because if someone else goes down there and never comes back, she felt bad. The judge asked for a short break, but no one in the courtroom moved because what was just said was more than just evidence. It was a message. When court started up again, the questions moved from what happened below the house to what happened above it, which was still very upsetting. The defense tried to make Cassie's events seem more like they were voluntary by using the now famous word freak-offs. That line had already shown up in her texts with Diddy, though they were usually funny or secret. But the court was about to find out what it really meant. "Could you explain what a freak-off was?" the defense asked. Cassie gave a small nod. The night was planned. It always had to do with sex, sometimes with more than one person, and sometimes with movies. He would give people jobs. There were steps to follow. Sometimes drugs had to be taken. Text messages from many years ago were shown to the judges. Diddy wrote in one message, "Game starts at 10 p.m. You can't break character until 8 a.m. Bring lights and clothes to another room. I want you to wear a wig." Cassie made it clear that these weren't separate events. There were at least 2 of them every month. Some happened on the spot. Others were set up like business meetings, with time limits and helpers bringing people in. She said she agreed sometimes. Giving your permission while high is not consent. I was high a lot. I forgot what I had done sometimes. When the prosecution spoke up, they made it clear that these events, which Diddy called sessions in writing, took place in high-end hotels and sometimes in his own houses. Did any happen in the tunnel? What did the lawyer ask? Cassie took a deep breath. Yes, she did talk about a time when she was told to wear a rubber suit and keep quiet all night. I was warned that I would be punished if I did something bad. There were strangers among the guests that night. He never named anyone. Someone told me to believe him. A scary line from Diddy was in one of the messages that was used as proof. "Want to be in charge this time." Not a safe word. Cassie said in court that she didn't always feel in charge of her body. "I felt empty afterward. I had lost track of who I was." She would get rid of the tapes and pictures later, not because they are ashamed, but because they are scared. Fear that something bad would happen if she spoke. People began to ask about the part drugs played in these meetings. What drugs were often used at these events? The government asked. Cassie didn't think twice. Opiates, DMT, bazos, weed. But mostly pills I didn't ask for. I didn't always know what I took until after I passed out. She told the judge that Diddy, or someone on his staff, often gave her the drugs. He told me it would help me relax, but it only made me slow, foggy, and willing to do what he said. She remembered waking up sweaty, on the floor of his Miami home one night, with the camera light still on. I have no idea how I got there. There was no one in the room that I know of. She told the judge that she started to think videos were being saved over time. He would tell me, "You're mine forever." I first thought it was just words. Then I realized he was writing things down to keep track of them. The defense asked her if she had ever seen these movies to refute this claim. Just once. For a short time, a clip on his laptop. 2 guys and me. I am not sure I remember it happening. She told him, she begged him to get rid of it. He told me, "I want to use everything against you." Cassie talked about how this power went beyond the bedroom. He would call 50 times if she left the house without telling him she was there. He would say bad things would happen if she didn't answer. She also thought that he told people in his group to stop giving her drugs directly because she was taking from him. It felt like he made it impossible for me to get to anything else. I relied on them for everything. She said at one point, he found out that she was trying to get help at a high-end rehab that looked like a spa. In person, he told them I was being over the top. The next day I checked out. The judge was stunned when she said she had tried to stop taking pills on her own more than once. I wanted to, but I couldn't because he was still in my life. The prosecutor asked her a new question as her evidence went on into the afternoon. Was she the only one? Cassie turned her head away. "Number by no means was I the only woman there." She said that other women were present at several freak-offs. She was sometimes escorted by women she didn't know and sometimes by famous people. Often in masks and tears they'd show up by car service. I didn't ask anything. I was too scared. Tiffany Red, an old friend, was one of the few people she knew who saw what went on behind closed doors. Tiffany came to my 29th birthday party. She saw some things. It wasn't okay with her. I didn't pay attention. The court looked again at an open letter. Tiffany wrote years later and had published in Rolling Stone. In it she criticized Diddy's behavior. She tried to say something. She was shut up. More was done by the defense. Did anyone on staff see what was going on? Cassie said yes. His helpers helped him plan. They knew when the women were going to show up. Afterward, they cleaned up. They were not dumb, but I don't know how much they knew. She also remembered the moment she learned she didn't really have privacy. I saw one of his helpers walk in on us one time. He didn't move. He just said, "Sorry, boss." The defense said this didn't show criminal purpose, but what Cassie said made people angry. It was not about having sex. It was about obeying and giving in. Felt like they couldn't be touched. When asked right away why so many people had been quiet for so long, she gave a clear reason. "We said that because we didn't think anyone would believe us." She paused because he's a bitch. But now that the truth is out, other people are also ready to speak up. As the courtroom got ready for the next part of the evidence, the prosecutor moved on to the most disturbing part, the physical abuse. Cassie had already talked about the trickery, the tube, and the people who were making her feel uncomfortable. But what came next wasn't a sign. It was bumps. It was blood. It was her body that was hurt in quiet. The lawyer asked, "Did Mr. Combs ever hit you badly?" Cassie looked down and nodded. "Yes, many times." She talked about early signs like when he grabbed her wrist too hard or pushed her during fights. He always said sorry and promised it would never happen again, but it did every time. Pics of a cut above her forehead were shown to the court. Cassie confirmed that it was from a night when she got home late from dinner by herself. He thought I was lying to him. I wasn't. She said that he was drunk, suspicious and mean. I needed to get ready for a trip, but I was too tired. I passed out on the couch. He screamed when I woke up. After that, I only remember the pain. He also kicked her in the back, after reading her a text from another guy. "Do you remember who it was that the government pressed?" She told me Kid Cudi. He thought that we were seeing someone else. She said they went out for a short time when she wasn't seeing Diddy, but he wouldn't let it go. He talked about it all the time, and used it to explain everything. She said that he found ways to punish her, even when she tried to leave. He would send me texts through people I knew and trusted. This made me feel like I was being watched and helped me remember who was in charge. People asked her why she didn't call the cops. "I didn't think anyone would believe me," she replied. "He was strong. I didn't. After that, she said something that hit the ground hard. He told me I was dead weight and threw me off a boat in the Caribbean after one of the worst nights of my life. I swam to land, but I still went back to him. At that very moment, one of the jurors looked clearly shaken. Even though the judge asked for a short break, the damage had already been done. Cassie had just made it clear that the abuse wasn't a metaphor or something that was kept secret. It felt like a body. It was rough. It was real. When the trial started again, the prosecution carefully led Cassie to the last and most famous event, the Intercontinental Hotel incident. It was true what they said. It wasn't online chatter. Everything changed that night. It was the night before your movie opening, right? They asked. She said yes. I had been waiting years for that show to start. I was happy with the movie. I wanted to have a party. Duff had other ideas though. Cassie said in court that he forced her to have one more freak-off. He said it would be easy and help us get back in touch. She wasn't sure, but she said no at first. And he kept going. He told me it was customary for us to spend one night together before every big event. In the end, she gave in, and I wanted peace. I didn't want to fight the night before my event on the red carpet. Cassie talked about how she was driven to the Intercontinental with the thought that there would only be the two of them. But when she got there were already 3 people there. 2 women, a man dancing, lights and cameras. It was clear to me. She said a pill was given to her. He told me it would make me feel better. I was already worn out. I got it. She thought of flashes and the dancer with the mask. Diddy was taping herself on his phone while she slurred words she didn't remember. After that, nothing. After many hours, I woke up alone and drenched in sweat. I looked at my phone. He wrote in a message, "You were amazing. I'm happy." I had no idea what he meant. She didn't ask. She cleaned up, and after hours, she walked the red carpet with a smile on her face. No one knew. No one saw the cuts and scrapes under the dress. After that, the prosecutor showed a bunch of texts from that day. He asked her if she was still glowing, and if she wanted to do it again after the party. What did she say? I never replied. Something inside her broke that night. She began to think about her life without him for the first time. It went on for more than one night. It was the last straw after 10 years of being in charge. She flew to New York by herself the next morning. Diddy didn't go after them. She felt like she could breathe for the first time in years. The last part of Cassie's Day 5 story was calm and quiet. However, it was more disturbing because it showed what happens after the cameras stop flashing. It wasn't as shocking as the tube or the violence. She talked about how she was trying to get better. I pretended it didn't happen at first. I told everyone that we just stopped talking to each other, but she was really hurt. She went to therapy. After that, she began to remember specifics. Nights she had tried to hide. People she knew. Rooms she had gone into. Then, there was the legal case. It was quickly filed. Stayed put even faster. Cassie, though, didn't care about the money. It had to do with a record that said I wasn't crazy. It took place. The doors were opened by her case. In the weeks that followed, more women spoke out, some with private stories, new complaints, and then the FBI did a raid. The police searched Diddy's homes for proof of trafficking and forced labor. What they found is still a secret. But there were stories going around about buildings, files, and even recording devices that were buried. Reporters wanted to talk to Cassie. She said no, I didn't want to be a sign of something. I would have liked to be free. Now though, she was in federal court, telling the whole story. She gave a straight answer, when asked under oath what she hoped would happen with all of this. Not just for me, but for everyone who went through that house and vanished into those tunnels and never came back. That was the end of her story. The courtroom was quiet, as the judge let the jury go home for the day. Inside, cameras weren't allowed, but everyone outside knew that something very important had just happened. Cassie Ventura did more than just testify. Due to money, fame, and quiet, this world had been kept secret. She tore the lid off of it. The truth is out now, no matter what happens next.